you're Jalen Williams right here, you're in drop coverage off of a pick and roll. You've got to get in a defensive stance with your feet set because you've got to be able to guard the ball and Nick Richards here. Okay? See, when all you're doing is backpedaling, you're not guarding the ball at all. I mean, that is not what you're looking for. What is Jalen Williams doing in transition here? You get to the nearest body. That's right here. Like, what is he doing? Cannot get back to the middle of nowhere in transition. This player's clearly guarding right here, so you need to guard P.J. Washington. I mean, where is this player for the Thunder going? This is absolutely insane. One of these Thunder players should be ahead of this Hornets player. I mean, are you serious with this? How on earth does this happen? I mean, really, how? If you're Josh Giddey, you can never, ever guard like this. One, your back is to the ball. Two, you're trying to get over this stagger screen early. Get attached to your man with your back to the baseline. When this player comes off the stagger screen, you go under, over. But Josh Giddey is... You can't... Look at this. It's over. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, this appears to be a horrible switch. Stop. So if you're switching, Isaiah Joe, you got to say something, okay? Because it appears like you didn't, because Josh Giddey is really late switching back. I mean, whoa. Again, if you're Jalen Williams, you got to be in a defensive stance with your feet set. That's the only way you're going to be able to guard the ball and Nick Richards, okay? If you're able to slide over to Nick Richards, you'll have help in the gaps right here with Josh Giddey. But all you're doing is backpedaling. You have no chance of sliding over to Nick Richards right now. Hey, this is a down screen. This is a problem. Jalen Williams needs to get attached with his arms out. This player can't curl over this down screen. You got to force him out so this player has time to get over the screen. Does it look like this player has time to get over the screen? I mean, my goodness. Okay, so the Thunder and drop coverage. This is Josh Giddey's fault. All right, Jalen Williams is going to recover back to his man right here. So once that happens, like now, you need to be sprinting out back over here. And by the way, the whole time you've been staring at the ball, that also can't happen. So, I mean, this all just leads to bad. If you're Josh Giddey here, you got to force this guard this way, okay? Because when Nick Richards rolls, there's got to be backside help. There is everywhere this way. See, when you let him come this way, look at this. There's zero backside help right here. Okay, so Jalen Williams has to pretty much stay with Nick Richards. I guess this player is going to try and get in backside help. That's not going to work with the way the court is. Again, this is a problem here. One Thunder player is boxing out. 4 are not. That doesn't mean that you're not going to give up an offensive rebound when 1 of 5 players is boxing out. If you are Luguentz Dort and you want to be in the gaps, you've got to be here now with your feet set. Look at the problem here. Look at Luguentz Dort. Look, his feet are moving inward. You have no chance of getting outward now. So just rip and go right by you. Hey, come on. This is off of a miss. Okay, stop. Don't look at the shot. We have 3 Thunder players just staring at the shot. That's not productive. Get back, please. Look at this. I mean, this transition defense, everyone's standing. Now we're sort of jogging. I mean, this is a real problem. This is a disaster on a lot of levels. If you're Jalen Williams, you need to get your feet set and be in a defensive stance. This is not, your feet aren't set, you're not in a defensive stance. You're already at a disadvantage here guarding P.J. Washington. Then you're just going to top it off by feeling out a screen that never is set, and now P.J. Washington, I mean, that's just not going to work. There has got to be way more urgency getting over to P.J. Washington here. I mean, this is not urgent even close. Look at this. Look at how you... Does it look like you're ready to guard P.J. Washington right now? I would say the answer to that is a resounding no. So P.J. Washington blows by his man and gets to the rim here. Okay, so this player steps up to help. Has to. Trey Mann is going to rotate here, right? But this player's got to rotate here immediately, and this player would come back up. Okay, or Pokusevski if he can. But the point is, this player rotates here when this player rotates here. And that just doesn't happen in nearly the amount of time it needs to happen in. There's a lot wrong with this play. We will just focus right here. If you want to be in the gaps defensively, you got to already be there. Your feet have to be set. Let's take a look at this Thunder player. And your back needs to be to the baseline, which the Thunder players isn't, because now he's only seeing the ball. He's not seeing his man. So that all just leads to really bad things for the Thunder. The Thunder are in drop coverage here. Stop. So Alexei Pokusevski's got to actually get in drop. You got to stay underneath the ball. Like, what? What is Pokusevski doing? Luguentz Dort getting a defensive stance with your feet set. Look at this. Your feet are not set. So stop. Look at this. You're leaning this way as this player's flying off a handoff this way. So you're not able to stay with them. And look what happens. So instead of being able to stay with them over the top, you got to go underneath. And what does that do? That screens your own man from guarding P.J. Washington. And now, again, if you want to be in the gaps defensively, first of all, your back needs to be to the baseline so you can see ball and man. But two, your feet have to be set. Look at this player right here. Feet moving inward. You have 0.000% chance of getting outward. Now that's going to draw help. Now that's going to leave P.J. Washington open. Okay, so as soon as P.J. Washington turns to face you up, you have to be in a defensive stance with your feet set. See, look at, he's turned to face you up. Look at you. Your feet aren't set. They're not level to each other. You have your hand on P.J. Washington. So because you're off balance, I should add, a little jab step here. Look at this little jab step. It's going to get you flying backwards and give him the space he needs for that. So Dario Saric is guarding this Hornets player. Like, once he makes this pass, you're still guarding this Hornets player. Supposedly. Okay, so it looks like Jeremiah Robinson-Earl might be hedging this, so it doesn't even really matter. You can't give this space up. This player cannot split through here. There is way too much space. Look at this. This player split through. We're giving up points now. This has to be way more physical of a box out right here. Let's take a look. Stop. Okay, stop. When you're boxing out, like, you got to drive the lower half of your body into Nick Richards because that moves Nick Richards out. Look at this box out. You haven't moved Nick Richards anywhere because you're not using the lower half of your body to drive him. So he's just staying in this charge circle, and this is a really easy offensive board. If you are Luguentz Dort and you want to be in drop coverage, you got to be able to guard both the ball and you got to be able to rotate to P.J. Washington, who's popping. The only way you can do that is if you're in a defensive stance with your feet set. Let's take a look at Luguentz Dort. He is not in a defensive stance, and his feet certainly aren't set. So you're not going to be able to recover back to P.J. Washington, who can just pump and go for 2 now. And 1. Horrible defense. Get in a defensive stance with your feet set. Why are you climbing outward to P.J. Washington right now? And look at this. So now you're going uphill as P.J. Washington's coming downhill. So that forces this defender to have to step up and help, which means boxing Nick Richards out becomes a lot harder.